Today, I'd like to give you a warm welcome to the first Expat Life show on the Travel to Money podcast. I'm here with my co-host Pablo Arias, owner of an international relocation company who recently started an awesome community for expats. In this episode, we're going to get to know Pablo a bit, learn about how he got into the international relocation industry, and find out all about his dreams for a community of expats. Pablo, I'm so thankful to have you as part of this podcast. Can you share with us a little bit about your life background? Maybe we can start with where are you from, where do you live now, and where are you now?
Wow. Wow. I can tell you something to start right off the bat. I'm really excited to be here. I'm really excited to share a little bit about what we do for the international expat community. And it's something that I have fallen in love with, helping other people make their dreams come true. Uh,
Hmm.
you know, to give you a little bit of a background, I'm a Costa Rican that has lived abroad in the United States, also in Panama. Right now, I'm in Costa Rica. I like traveling a whole lot, but I like the experiences of living in different places. So whenever I had to fly, perhaps to Guatemala or El Salvador, I'm the type of person that not necessarily have to go to the very fancy restaurant, which I like those things, but I also want to go to this farm market or to the market where, things are very inexpensive and you can get, the really unique local traditional things and
Mm-hmm.
souvenirs and maybe perhaps getting to experience some of the local food and cuisine. And I'm the type of person that talk to the taxi driver for like as much as possible because I want to understand the locals. I want to understand the culture.
Mm.
Uh, so that's kind of like my personality. I feel I'm a people's person and I always wanted to connect and I want to understand what's happening in the local community and culture. And with that, as a person, I fall into this, you know, shipping business. One day I got me a job into selling shipping, and I thought it was going to be selling containers full of bananas from Costa Rica. Costa Rica
Right.
exports bananas, or maybe pineapples, or things like that. And when it got me, the first day they throw at me a project of relocating a big contract with Intel. Intel, this big microchip company, they were opening a huge multi-million-dollar operation in Costa Rica to manufacture their microchips. The task in hand was to manage the international moves of engineers from all over the world to come to Costa Rica to start this project. So we were
Mm.
moving a lot of people. So I just got into this job helping people. Of course, I'm helping somebody making it into a new country, and my job is the shipping part. But hey, you're coming new to Costa Rica, maybe you need something. Maybe there is a restaurant in town that things like that. Just connecting
Sure.
people with additional information that they may need. And I see, how people is grateful about those things when you're new into a new country. And you experience
Mm-hmm.
this. I mean, you living in Spain, doing things in Spain, you're new. You get to talk to some people that's got this energy and willingness to help, and you feel grateful,
Exactly.
right? But
Mm-hmm.
that
For
person
sure.
also feel your also feel your energy, and you feel this that you're grateful, and I really enjoy that feeling, and that's how this kind of became my mission. I really enjoy this. Um, Eventually, after that project, finished, uh, because I do speak a little bit better English than most other Costa Rican local shipping companies,
Okay.
or perhaps salespeople that sells moving services. I
Mm-hmm.
started getting a lot of people that they wanted to move and relocate to Costa Rica, that they were from United States and Canada. Uh, so start helping just expats, newcomers, investors to make their international move into Costa Rica. But what really pushed me into making this my mission was that the same people that called me today for an international move, they will also call me 6 months later because their dream got destroyed. They make a bad decision. They didn't know that they cannot purchase something, or they make a their own investment. Maybe they purchase a piece of
Right.
property where they cannot build anything, or
Mm.
maybe somebody said, "Well, I got this opportunity for you." Took then their down payment $50,000, and they lost their money on in a bad investment.
Oh my
So they will
goodness.
call me. Yeah, it's a horrible thing, and it felt so bad because I was receiving maybe 1 or 2 times a month someone in their retirement age, 60 years old, usually very successful people, the people that are, they have the means that to purchase something abroad, a property
Sure.
abroad.
Uh-huh.
Um, they they call me maybe crying, maybe really upset because they made the wrong decision. Nobody told them that was impossible. They thought they can open a business. They thought, and I'm not saying it's impossible. If you do things properly, you can do business in Costa Rica or abroad.
Sure.
But they just didn't prepare themselves. They were not ready. And this is why
Mm-hmm.
I'm so passionate about sharing these stories and sharing what I do and sharing ideas, tips, and also contacts with people. And today, my business has grown. I've been doing this for 14 years, little over that, and literally I don't have to work as much. So I'm doing a lot of public relationships, networking events. I'm building a community for expats with free resources. This is called
Mm-hmm.
theexpatcommunity.com. And I'm trying to provide other ways for people to learn and mitigate some of that risk, mitigate those mistakes. And I feel building a strong community with good service providers and with good people would allow people to get to meet those providers and to make their dream come true.
Sure, sure.
Uh,
Well, I know one of the reasons I reached out to you about doing this podcast, we met through Instagram. And I was just so impressed with how relational you are. You can tell right off the bat how much you care for people. It just stands out. And it's
Thank you.
so obvious. And so when I heard that you were doing this expat community, I was like, oh my gosh, we have to just talk about this because I think it's going to be really helpful for people. But going back for a second to your business. So are you like the middleman between a shipping company and the person and what they need to get done? How do you help someone that wants to move? Like, what is that? What are the things that your company is involved in making sure that all of that goes smoothly for them?
Okay. International shipping is not designed for the end consumer.
Mm,
In business, we'd say something like there's businesses that are B2B, business to business,
mm,
and that's international shipping. It's not designed for a single person to just wanting to hire a container and ship things across the globe. It's not meant for that. So the
right.
rules of hiring a shipping company are way different, and they usually do not care. These businesses, big, gigantic shipping companies, they don't care for someone that has one container that wants to ship
Mm,
their container to Spain. It's just they want to
right.
get the account that usually does 100 and plus containers to different countries. So they want to get the corporate business. And whenever someone goes directly to this big name visa lines,
Mm-hmm.
they usually do not get a reply right away, or they don't even answer. In fact, a lot of these big companies they refer me customers because they say, "Well, Pablo, you specialize in taking care of this customer, and you're my customer. I'm already doing a lot of business with these companies."
Mm,
So they say their salespeople who say, well, Pablo, this person needs to do an international move from this location to this location. Maybe you can help them. Uh, there's a lot of reasons they don't care about this particular customer. One is they're used to big volume, and the other is
right.
there's a lot of risk, legal risk of handling these services because the user do not know the rules. Usually the container, if you don't know the rules and you're loading your shipment to Colombia or to Mexico and you don't know what's the specific rule in Colombia for your
Mm-hmm.
particular case with your immigration case in hand and with everything that takes, which it could be a million different ways. If you don't know
Mm-hmm.
that your container is going to be stuck at a port in Puerto Ventura, Colombia, and the port is another entity that charges about $100 a day, depending on the port, could be $200 a day. So you don't know what you're doing. The company that you hire is only doing the shipment. So there's a lot of different risks that these companies they don't want to get involved into shipping your container because you don't know what you're doing. So we specialize on doing a consultation call, explaining everything that the
Mm-hmm.
customer may need, especially focusing on the risk and the regulations and the requirements.
Okay.
And oftentimes people would say, no, it's too complex for us. I don't want to ship. I'm just going to sell everything. I'm here in Miami or Florida. I'm selling everything, and I'm just going to buy everything brand new in Colombia or everything brand new in Costa Rica.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's the case for us, it's better. I love it. It's not good for business, but it's good for the customer and it's good for our reputation as a company. Because if
Sure.
we get a customer that doesn't know what he's doing, or does not want to follow the customs rules and regulations, what end up happening is we end up having a problematic service or project that
Mm-hmm.
oftentimes, there is a lot of legal fees, fines that we have to then negotiate to lower, that we have to help the customer. So we try to really explain what's going to happen, set the expectation properly. And after that, if you need the service, then we coordinate everything for you. And if you
Mm-hmm.
don't want to hire us, at least you know. At least you can go with somewhere else and hire the service, but at least you know. But oftentimes what happens is that builds word of mouth because the
Mm.
expat communities in Costa Rica, in Colombia, in Spain are very small. So if you do a good job for one individual, then you're
Right.
doing jobs for the entire community.
It's definitely
So
going to get
it's
around.
we are a big success because of that. Because we
Mm.
really try to manage expectations properly, tell everything
Mm-hmm.
up front, be transparent. So we get a lot of referrals.
Mm.
That's how the business has grown. It's just word of mouth, referrals. I've been invited in different platforms to do relocation retreats to talk about international shipping and customs with
Mm-hmm.
international living, ARCR, many different platforms because of that. Just word of mouth. People need to know these things, and sometimes people do not understand the level of risk they could be taking if they don't know it, they're not doing it properly.
Right.
So that's what we do, consultations, and
Yeah.
then if you need the service, then we do the service. But
Mm-hmm.
that's the business side where I guess we charge for, we
Mm-hmm.
invoice this. Uh, but what I do, or the heart of my business, is helping people, doing this entire relocation properly. And I'm happy to share immigration attorneys or maybe a real
Mm.
estate agent that I know in town that I know could be a good fit. And for this particular referrals, we don't get commissions for no one, and we don't
Wow.
set as a policy. We don't want commissions for no one, because either way, we understand the long-term vision is to build a brand that is loved by the community.
Right.
So yeah, this is what we're doing.
I love it. That is incredible and such a great resource. I know for me moving to Spain, I didn't move anything over. All I ever take with me is a backpack. I just established life there, buy furniture there. So I hadn't really thought about what it would be like if you own a home in the US or wherever you live and you decide to sell that house and take everything with you, which I guess a lot of people do. I worked with some people about a year or so ago who had moved from South Africa and they were waiting months. They had thought it was kind of at the end of COVID. And so there were a lot of shipping issues in general. But they had not purchased new furniture. So they were living with just a few things, waiting for their items to arrive.
It's a headache.
And I had never thought about coordinating the logistics of that. But everything you explained makes so much sense. Like, understanding how things at ports work and where something gets shipped to, and then maybe the company that shipped it is done at that point, but then what do you do with it from there? Like all of that. So I can understand how that would be a really great resource to be able to call you all and have you walk them through that and then take care of it for them to make sure that the process is smooth, because I'm sure moving is stressful anyway, and moving overseas is even
It's it's
more
it's,
stressful.
it's stressful. It is. This is stressful, but this industry is really not customer oriented. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
There is no customer service. You talk to a visit line. You can wait a couple of days for an email reply. If you don't have the relationship with these companies, it's complicated. And then that's on the business to business side. But then the bureaucracy of doing customs in a country like
Mm,
Mexico or even Spain, even
sure.
European countries like that, even in Spain, there is a lot of bureaucracy.
There's a
If you don't know what you're
lot.
doing, if you don't have the right contacts, uh, so what we do is, because we do it every day, we have built and established relationships in different ports through our agents, and they do it every day. So we know we can get a lot more down faster than most people that are just trying to do it from the beginning,
Right.
with no experience with. Uh, so yeah, I think it's not for everyone. Sometimes this could be expensive. I would say a lot of people that may ship things from United States to Europe, a lot of the products that you have in United States, electronics, are not going to be for the electric system in Europe where you use
Sure.
220. There's many things like that, but we still have found a group of people, customers that are very niche, that are willing to do the international shipment, that it has got nice furniture, sometimes art, sometimes
Sure.
things like that, that are they're doing it on a regular basis. We have a lot of customers, and there is a market for it. We are offering that, and at the same time we are building community, and we're trying to provide the best possible advice for the newcomer or expat community.
That makes a lot of sense. That's really cool and such a great resource. So, speaking of the expat community, let's talk about that for a minute. You just started this recently, right? And what exactly, how can people be involved? What does it offer for them? What are you building? Tell me all about that.
Okay, my business is called International Relocation Partner.
Okay.
It's a shipping company that's got a relocation company. Any, anyway, but we just recently launched theexpatcommunity.com, which is a portal for resources.
Okay.
So we are doing weekly Spanish classes. So a lot of the North American friends, Canadians, that they're moving to Spain or they're moving to Costa Rica, they don't know the local language. And we've said, well, maybe we can do as a service for the community. We partnered with the local Spanish school, and on Wednesdays, we go live, Facebook Live and YouTube, to just share, a few tips about how to learn in Spanish. It's actually classes. So that's one of the services we do. And the other service we do for the community is we look for local news that are happening local within Costa Rica, within Mexico, within Panama and Portugal. We haven't reached Spain with this. It's a lot of work for this. But basically what we're trying to do out of the local communities, we're trying to get what are the most relevant local news that a newcomer may need. Perhaps there is a road that got closed. There is sometimes in these countries, just in Panama, a couple of months and a half ago, they were having strikes. So all of the roads were blocked. The entire country was blocked, and this could happen in many different places. Mexico, Costa Rica, Spain. Perhaps there are news that you need to know. The Costa Rican, somebody from Panama, we know these things because we just
Right.
watch the news.
Sure.
But if you're a tourist, or if you're new to the country, the local news are going to be in English. So what we do is we translate those the local news are going to be in Spanish, and we translate those local news into English. So yeah, it doesn't take that as much, really. It's just a lot of information that we have to go through, and that's why we haven't reached to Spain yet. We're doing 4 countries, and we just try to push for Spain shortly. But it's just going through local news and figuring out what's relevant, what's not relevant to the expat community. Translate that, which is very easy to do nowadays. And we're always going to put what is the source. So this came out of this newspaper. We put the source, and we just give you the news in your language. In your
That's
inbox,
so
that goes in Spanish. That goes in English every Friday. So that's another thing we're doing. We have a knowledge base that is just general articles that we create. We have a writer, a professional writer that does this, but it's a lot of work to cover all these countries. But we are now looking for, guest bloggers. If you want to write for the expat community, we are looking for, I wish I have somebody strong in Spain that can help us. We are happy to publish that and push that content. That's one of the things we want help with, and also with someone that is up to date with the local news in some of the
Mm-hmm.
destinations that can just forward the link with the local news. This is relevant for the community, and we do
Mm-hmm.
the job of translating. Uh, that would be a huge help for our team to be able to do that. I mean, we're spending a lot of time, energy, and money of making that, but it's still the amount of information we have to go through is humongous. I mean, it's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of information if we really want to serve. We are only focusing on 5 destinations. I wish I
Mm-hmm.
could do more, but it's it's
Yeah.
it's
It
impossible
takes
to do
time
more
to
countries.
build to that, I'd imagine. What are the countries that you are including in that 5 right now?
Costa Rica,
Mm-hmm.
Panama, Mexico, Portugal, and Spain. Those
Okay.
are the most, but Spain I haven't really, you know, I haven't. We're just barely touching Spain
Sure.
with the content
Scratching
and
the
the
surface
information.
of that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just barely pushing that. And Portugal is another language, so
Mm-hmm.
it's also very huge for people who wants to move abroad. A lot of people
Right.
want to do Portugal,
So many expats.
so another thing that I love to have is somebody listening that wants to help, that want to get involved with the community. We love to know you as a provider. If you
Mm.
have a good name in Portugal as a service provider and you speak English, you want to help the North American Canadians move to Portugal,
Mm-hmm.
we'll be happy to promote your business. And we're not charging advertising. We just want to
Right.
build a good, reputable community. So the most
Oh.
important thing for this is if you have a good name, references, and if you have a good backtrack record of your services, we'd love
Mm-hmm.
to talk to you.
That's incredible. What a great help for people. I think that that's something that folks are really going to want to connect with and lean on. And I know when you start in a new place, for a lot of people, it can be scary. So just knowing there's a place you can go to get information and resources is helpful. I love that you're translating news. I know in Spain, like when I first moved there, this isn't necessarily newsworthy, but I would get up to go to the store and then find out it was a holiday and I had no idea and everything's closed. Or
Wow, that's a
recently
good
I
one.
was
We should do that. Yeah, that's a
recently I
good.
was in my house in Pago, Spain, and I noticed there was this massive amount of smoke and coming from the other side of the mountain. You could tell there was a huge fire, and I had to message someone and say, "Are we okay? Where do I get news for this?" Like, and then knowing that I don't know how to read the news, I mean, I can use Google Translate, but it's not super easy to um, coordinate all of that and understand what's happening. So I think what you're doing makes a lot of sense and is going to be really helpful for people. Um, so
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
yeah.
We just started.
Hmm.
Eventually, when it grows and it gets more people to help and support this initiative, we may be able to do more countries.
Mm.
One last thing that we are trying to do this coming year is before we have to go,
Hmm.
it's networking events, which
Mm.
is very hard to do in a international level.
Right.
It's easy for me to do it in Costa Rica. A lot of people know me in
Mm.
Costa Rica. Also
Mm.
in Panama, we're very known within the expat community in Panama. But it's hard. So I'm actually flying, going Panama, going Costa Rica. I'm flying to Playa del Carmen in January and trying to do 2 events, one in Playa del Carmen and another one in Merida, where we are doing little live music, a little, courtesy drinks to bring the community
Mm.
together, to talk about, the expat community and what we're doing. Uh, because I think uh, one of the biggest challenges for the expat is the language is one, so
Hmm.
translating news and learning, but the other one is everybody you know is just a little picture on your screen. It's not a human
Right.
being,
Right.
and this particular say we need to connect with people to develop trust with people. We need to
Mm.
meet people in person to enhance that trust. And when you're new into a new country, how many people you know? Very very little. Maybe only the taxi driver and your real estate agent and maybe somebody else. But bringing people together in an event, live music, shaking hands. And what is it that you do? I do this. Where is it that you're coming from? Are you from Canada? I'm from Canada too. That that connection is something that is missing within the expat community in a lot of places, and we
Mm.
want to push for that initiative as well.
I love it. There's just nothing like building relationships with folks. I think it matters. It's hard to do sometimes in the expat community, and the fact that you're trying to bring that together is really special. Well, Pablo, this has been a lot of fun getting to know more about you and your business. For those of you listening, next week, Pablo and I will be back talking about how to prepare for expat life. If you are considering a move overseas, you definitely don't want to miss this one. Thank you so much for spending your time with us. Be sure to subscribe and let us know if you have any topics you would like for us to discuss. As always, I can't wait to see where your dreams will take you.